it wasn't much to look at. I had far better games on my PC and on various consoles. There was no sound card support, just beeps and boops from the PC speaker. So, why did I play Epic Mega Games Odd ZZT? That's what we're here to explore in this episode, brought to you by the letters 109 and the letters A, O, and L. The year is 1995. Probably. Maybe 94. My memory is lousy. I just know that I was in middle school. You wouldn't know it to look at me now, but yes, I really did play basketball. The season after this photo was taken, I was on a team that won the Yorktown Athletic Club Championship. But you didn't push the play button to hear me talk about basketball glory days. Oh no, you're here for the nerdy stuff. When I wasn't feeling like a total imposter playing town sports, I was glued to the computer. Or, in school. But were I at home, I was probably absorbing ambient radiation in the warm glow of a 13-inch Tandy CRT. Between bloody sessions of Doom, epic space battles in TIE Fighter, and fits of popular shareware games, I was probably noodling around in ZZT. This ASCII-based adventure game was created by Tim Sweeney, and was the first title released by Epic Mega Games. Today, they're just Epic Games. Yes, the Unreal Engine guys. This is where it all started. There were even seeds of what was to come for them wrapped into this little gem. Eventually, Epic became known for technologically advanced titles, be it the speedy Jazz Jackrabbit with its Gravis ultrasound audio and ahead-of-its-time gamepad support, or the Unreal titles with eye-popping 3D graphics. This game didn't stick out among its contemporaries, even back in 1991 when it was first released. For reference, here are some notable titles from that year. There was Space Quest 4, Duke Nukem, Commander Keen and Goodbye Galaxy, Monkey Island 2, and Another World. All great games, all with notable visuals and sound, all considered classics, or at the very least important. ZZT could have easily been ignored among these titans, but it wasn't. And it was still somewhat relevant a few years later when I discovered it. The real hook to this game was in the gameplay, which, as you can see here, is being an ASCII character, attempting to collect ASCII characters and shooting ASCII characters at enemy ASCII characters. Nay, it was the built-in creation tools. Like Apogee's Kraz games before it, and Megazooks' after it, ZZT allowed players to create their own games using a simple editor. Plenty of great little games were created this way. Giving away creation tools is still a hallmark of Epic, as Unreal Engine 4 is freely available. I never really got the hang of it myself, as I was always bad at design. In the 8th grade, I got a D in art class. The editor functionality kept the game alive and circulating long enough for me to stumble upon it. Stumble really is the right word. I knew nothing of this game going in. It was just, there. Where is there, you ask? Why, on America Online. Before using the internet was a mere matter of opening a web browser, our old computers had to work to access vast resources of information. They did so by what was called dialing up. Some of you remember this time and are trying to forget it, particularly this sound. That will be a familiar sound to many, but new to some of you, as I understand it's possible to have been born after dial-up modems went extinct, and yet be old enough to have the motor skills to click play in a YouTube video. Holy hell, it's hard to wrap my aging brain around this fact. Well, in a nutshell, here's how this worked. We told the computer we wanted to get online. The modem, a device that either lived inside the computer or connected to a serial port, picked up the telephone line and dialed the number. Yes, like what you do when your favorite pizza place doesn't have a website for online ordering. A modem elsewhere answered this call, and this awful cacophony was heard. Of course, that's assuming everything went right and the line wasn't busy. Information then was exchanged by converting data to sound and back again. Once all that work was done, we really weren't connected to the internet. Back then, those who did get online, and it was far fewer than it is today, used online services to connect. These were kind of little private internets with proprietary interfaces. Most could talk to the internet in some regard, but there wasn't much to do there beyond email and newsgroups. The web was an infant at this time, so these online services were the hottest game in town. By far, the biggest was America Online, commonly called AOL. They got a late start compared to other services, like CompuServe or Prodigy, but their graphical interface was practically designed for Windows and incredibly easy to use. I spent a lot of time on America Online, costing my parents a small fortune in access charges and telephone tolls, at least until we got reliable local numbers and AOL switched to an all-you-can-eat access plan. There was plenty to do. I hung out in chat rooms, emailed my friends, got pro wrestling news, did research for school, and downloaded all kinds of crap. Usually small crap, as my modem was old and could only connect at 2400 baud. Baud is a way to measure the speed of data transfer. It's not exactly a bits per second analog, but you can Wikipedia all the nerdy details. We can assume that I could download files at the blazingly slow speeds of 2400 bits per second on a good day. By comparison, my cable broadband can pull down data at a blistering 80 megabits per second. Doing a bit of math, that's nearly 35,000 times faster. We've come a long way in 20-odd years. Now, there were a lot of games one could download from the AOL download channel. Mostly shareware titles, various extra levels for Doom, and even Neverwinter Nights, a multiplayer Dungeons & Dragons game. You might be familiar with that name, as two more modern D&D games were released with the same name, in homage to the AOL original. Trouble was, most of them were pretty beefy for the time. A number of faster modems had come out, and those larger games were in trouble for those who owned them. For people with old, crappy connections like mine, we often had to stay connected for extended periods, even overnight, to download anything of value. So what's the point of this lengthy, convoluted, nerdy digression? It was this very problem that encouraged me to try ZZT. Remember 109 from earlier? That's the size of the zip file for the shareware episode of ZZT. 109 kilobytes. That was less than a 10-minute download for me, which was a really big deal. That wasn't long to wait to have something new to play, and that's what it was really all about. Sure, it's a weird, already kind of old game where little smiley faces shot at diacritics, but it was something new to me. New games had a sheen to them, as back then, new games were few and far between. I was a kid. I didn't have a job, I didn't get an allowance, and my parents only bought new games on rare occasions. If I got a new game, this either meant it was December, where both Christmas and my birthday fall, or there was a crazy deal at the warehouse store on a compilation or re-release, and I was able to convince my parents to buy it. There were other times, of course, but those were even rarer. I did once get a game as an Easter gift. Did anyone else ever get an Easter gift? We'll probably talk about that game at some point as well. So, This was ZZT, a game I played because it was a tiny download on America Online 20 or so years ago, because 10 minutes was a small price to pay for having a brand new game to play, even if it was made of ASCII characters and only had PC speaker sound. I probably could have just said that and not wasted your time, but hey, I'm trying to document things here. Shrug? If you'd like to try out ZZT, Tim Sweeney released it as freeware ages ago, and you can download the registered version free and legally all over the internet. I'll include a link to a great site for it in the video description. It runs great in DOSBox, and if you can wrap your head around the editor, share your creation somewhere and tweet me a link. I'd love to check out what you folks make, and in turn I'll share it with the NerdNest community. Thanks for watching, and as usual, the bear hugs are always free.